Ben Shapiro was confronted at Oxford by the moderator regarding his views on Palestinian and Israeli lives, why he defends Israeli lives more than Palestinian ones. Check out his epic response.
You've spoken about this issue about Israel and Palestine a lot in recent interviews. You've rightly condemned the atrocities that occurred on October 7th to innocent Israeli civilians. I tried to find videos of you condemning the deaths of innocent Palestinian civilians at the hands of the IDF or Israel, but I couldn't find any.
Right, because I don't draw moral equivalence.
I just wanted to ask you directly, will you condemn the deaths of innocent Palestinian civilians in the same way that you do innocent Israeli ones?
Absolutely not. And the reason I will not is because the killing is not done in the same way or with the same purpose. That's like saying that do I condemn? That's like saying, will I condemn the person who murders a baby in their bed by burning them alive the same way that I condemn the police officer who's trying to arrest that person and accidentally kill someone in the process? Of course not. Those are not the same thing, not remotely.
But there have been innocent... do you not sympathize with the life of an innocent Palestinian child?
Of course I do. That's why Hamas should surrender today. Hamas should surrender today. This bullshit that it's Israel's responsibility to protect Gazan civilians in a way that Hamas doesn't have to protect Gazan civilians, or that what's happening right now is not the result of Hamas's terrorism and currently holding over 200 hostages, including babies, in custody. That's insane. Trying to draw a moral equivalence between people who are making targeted strikes against terrorists, who are hiding underground in tunnels deliberately, violating international law, in violation of the Geneva Conventions, holding the other side civilians underneath the ground while not providing their own people fuel, not providing them food, not providing them medicine, and that I'm supposed to equate Israel attempting to make targeted strikes with Hamas literally sending 2,000 terrorists across another nation's border and into civilian areas with no military goal, with purely the goal of murdering those civilians. Let me ask you, why exactly would you equate?
I'm asking you questions
well,
here, Mr. Shapiro.
You got several questions, so I'm asking. Honestly, I'm going to ask you the same question. Why would you?
I am asking you the questions here. I find it really concerning that you're not prepared.
Why won't you answer the question?
I find it really concerning that you're not prepared to condemn. To even admit that it's sad when an innocent Palestinian child dies.
Of course it's sad. I just said it's sad.
In the same way that it's sad when an innocent Israeli civilian dies.
Of course it's
Why are those two not equally saddening to you?
I'm of course incredibly sad when anybody who's innocent dies, but it is not the same evil when somebody murders a baby in their crib as when someone tries to kill a terrorist and that terrorist is hiding behind the baby. That's not the same thing.
But innocent Palestinian children have lost their lives.
Of course they have, and Hamas should be blamed for all of that, and Hamas should surrender today. Will you call on Hamas to surrender?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then we're in agreement. Great.
Okay.
Wow, that was a very, very heated clip. And a few things. Number one is, the number one problem is these people rob Hamas of agency. Instead of saying, oh, Hamas is doing terrible things, they say, oh, Hamas is not unreasonable. They can't be reasoned with. Let's just blame Israel. So the entire world, for everything that happens in this war, everything is Israel's fault. You saw that even on October 7th, they tried to blame Israel for October 7th. They tried to say, oh, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. Oh, you oppressed them. That's what happened, right? So when you make that when you blame Israel for Hamas's actions, you end up with a completely skewed version of this war, where everything Hamas does is now Israel's fault. If Hamas kills hostages, it's because Israel wasn't able to save them. If Hamas or wasn't willing to negotiate. If Hamas goes and kills 1,200 civilians on October 7th, it's because Israel wasn't able to defend them, or it was Israel being complicit in that terrible act. And he's 100% right to say, what even is this? What are we talking about here? This isn't a question that should be asked. And one other thing, when people say that someone that's pro-Israel, that's Jewish, should be condemning the deaths of Palestinians as much as he can condemn the deaths of Israelis, or care about the same amount, that's just not realistic. At the end of the day, he's Israeli, he's pro-Israel, he's Jewish, whatever he is, right? He's Ben Shapiro. Obviously, he's going to care more about Israeli lives. That's just obvious, to make someone pretend or to make a false statement about how, yeah, I care the same about every single death. That's insane. Nobody cares the same about Palestinian lives. If they're Israeli, same thing goes the other way. If someone's Palestinian, you can't expect them to care just as much about Israeli lives as they do about Palestinian lives. For more, subscribe to this channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. That's buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. Thank you and have a good one.